What would you say is the worst crash you've had? And I'm going somewhere with that. Today you've got the best equipment they make. You've got your roll cage ain't gonna cave. You're safe in there, and you're wrecking bigger than ever. But in the 80s, you were jumping 4 cars and running into the wall, and you're wearing a lap belt.
Right.
So my question is, was it rougher on you then or now?
No, it was rougher on me back then. I got hurt more. I broke my knee. I broke my ribs. I broke my shoulder. And all of it was because of safety. In new innovation of safety equipment, straps, belts, seats. I killed myself, man. I'm telling you, through the early 90s, and I thought that I had the best seat that you could get. I didn't know enough about how I was strapping myself in, and I just figured, hey, man, this is how you feel when you drive a monster truck. And if I'd have known what I know now back then, my back would be in good shape. I killed myself when I was young, man. It doesn't even bother me now. It's like it's pretty obvious I'm not the guy that's at the gym. I'm at Biscuit World down there, but and I take a beating in that truck right now because we're flying high and hitting hard, and I take a beating in the truck right on. But it's nothing like the old beat downs in the old days, when I was just barely strapped in the truck.
For a long time you were running junk just like I'm running now, and maybe even worse. I don't know. What was your worst situation on the side of the road trying to get somewhere?
I would say it was coming out of Nashville, Tennessee. Coming down a mountainside, and I got my hauling rig, and it was a bus, and I had it rigged up with a road tractor front end, and I was coming off of a mountain, no Jake brakes. My brakes were smoking, and oil seals were leaking, and I kind of got out of control, high speeding it, and I was downshifting, jerking that old Detroit, and had a 13 speed trying to downshift, so I wasn't going to wreck my whole rig, and I was slinging the motor so hard that I messed up some push rods in it, and as I was slinging the push rods out of the motor, I threw the drive shaft out of the truck, and then I just locked the brakes down, and it came to, I don't even know, I just drove it through the mountains until it came to a flat, and when it came to a flat, it was smoking, and everybody was inside just shaking like a leaf, including myself, and I get out in the trailer, I only had about two wheels trying to stop it, and it engulfed into flames, so it caught on fire. And I didn't have any fire extinguisher, so we're running out there with, a bottle, with a jug of water and trying to beat the fire out. And luckily, it didn't burn too bad. I just lost a couple of tires, but I was broke down beside the road, man. I was there for 20 hours.
Were you more worried about Gravedigger or the people inside?
I was more worried about the Gravedigger in the truck. I'm screaming at everybody, get out, let's get this thing put out.
And was the baby in there in the crib?
No, the baby wasn't with me. I didn't have my babies with me. I just had two crew guys with me. I had 2 crew guys with me, and the bad thing of it is that I had 300 gallons of methanol alcohol inside the camper in 1-gallon deals, stacked up, and I had a bed mattress on top of them. And that was pretty reckless.
That was a good question.
I think I'm out of questions. Right. I don't know. Worst run-in with the law?
What, worst run-in with the law? Let's see. I would say,
Dirt bike one, Dad.
Yeah, it's been on a dirt bike. Coming down the road, and this is when I lived at home with Mom and Dad. I think I was 16 or 17, and I had driver's license, but I had a dirt bike, and I was a big show off, and I could ride the fastest, longest wheelie all the way down Clearfield Avenue, and there's a bunch of people out there playing in their front yard, and I'd come by and jerk it up on the back wheel and just wah, 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 and I'm riding a wheelie, and one of the neighbors way up the road, because we didn't have neighbors right next to us, we had a lot of farmland by us, and she was old grump, so she would call the law. And I'd already buzzed up and down through there a few times, so she called the cops and said he's out here again. And the cops came, and while I was riding a wheelie, looking at my friends to make sure they were looking at me, do my big, wheelie down the road, as I kind of looked around the other side, come around the curve, here comes a cop. And I'm doing a wheelie right towards him. So I slammed the bike down, I skidded around, and I just tore out, going as hard as I could go. I'm on a dirt bike that runs like 65 miles an hour, so of course the cop is about, a half inch off my back wheel, and I knew that I couldn't outrun him on the road, so I said I got to get in the field and run down these field paths, and I ran across this driveway, the Payton's driveway, and everybody was playing football in his front yard, and they were scattering and running, and one guy, and I remember him, Tony, he jumped right in front of me, and I hit him, and I broke his leg, broke his ankle in the back of his, his heel. But anyway, I crashed and wrecked all up, and the cops come over and jumped out and pinned me on the ground, and you thought I'd robbed a bank, but that was the worst. And then I left my bike there, crashed up, put me in the car, the cop car, and he carried me home, because that's what they done back then. You know, now if you'd done that, you're doomed. You're doomed. You'd have first off, the first thing would happen is the attorneys would be rolling. There'd be a lawsuit going on. You'd be in jail until you were tried and all that. But that was probably the worst run-in that I had with the law.
So, fuck the law?
Yeah, bump the law. Bump the law.
I'll let you get back to what you was up to.
All right, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.